Ryan, your area isn't currently affected by the current cases. However, are you worried about emerging cases popping up in the bush?
It certainly is a big worry for us here in regional New South Wales. We've had a huge influx ever since the state has opened up since June 1. We've seen a lot of travellers heading up the M1 to our area and into regional New South Wales, which is great for our local economies. But certainly with these latest outbreaks in the Greater Sydney area, we need to be on high alert.
And there are warnings for Sydney-siders not to travel to the regions. Are people heeding that advice?
Well, certainly not in our area. There's lots of people travelling to our area, which I said is fantastic for our local economy, but has certainly got a lot of locals worried, and quite rightly they should be worried, because with these outbreaks in Sydney, we don't want the virus to get to the regions, particularly here in Port Stephens. We are such a popular tourist destination. It is a balance between getting the local economy open and keeping the virus out. If we can do this for a little bit longer, and hopefully once a vaccine is out there and available to all of us, particularly in coastal towns like Port Stephens, where we've got an older demographic, I think if we can get to that point, that'll be fantastic. But at this time, it is worrying.
The SCG test at this stage, it's still going ahead, except with 25% capacity. What would be your advice to Port Stephens residents who do want to travel to Sydney to watch the cricket?
Well, I know I've got mates myself that have tickets to the cricket, and they've shelved them. They won't be heading this year. And if you are in Port Stephens, I think we'd be able to watch that on the TV and hopefully see an Australian victory. But this time is the time to stay home, whether you're in regional New South Wales or Sydney. If you're travelling for essential reasons, that's well and good. But when we're in the middle of a pandemic, and hopefully we're close to the end, if we can just get to that finish line, I think it'll be better for all of us.
Port Stephens, as you said, is a very popular tourist destination on the state's north coast. We have seen a number of border closures in recent weeks, Mayor. Has there been an impact on the region?
Well, as I said earlier, since June 1 and since the regions opened back up, we've seen a huge influx into our area, which has been fantastic for the local economy, and we hope that continues for a very long time. But when there are warnings out there, we hope that people take those warnings seriously and do make sure that they're only travelling for essential reasons. But if they are travelling from a hotspot or greater Sydney area, we hope that when they're travelling to the supermarket or to the cinema or to a restaurant, that just like in Greater Sydney, if you've travelled to the regions, that you're wearing a mask as well, because if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander, that you must be wearing a mask in those situations. Just because you've travelled to regional New South Wales doesn't give you a licence to remove that mask. That's my opinion.
Yeah, some great advice. Port Stephens Mayor Ryan Palmer, appreciate your time.
No worries. Thanks for having me.